Cool. Well, we'll just go ahead and jump right in. And even though we have the chat room over there to the side, I will not pay a lot of attention to it. If my ADD gets distracted, it'll be all over. We got a ton of material to cover this morning. I'm going to try to make it as tight as possible so that we're not here all day. Make sure that you already have some paper, notebook, or whatever to take notes on, even though the replay will be available. Jot these down as fast as you can as we go through. What we're going to be looking at today is why PLR is the ultimate shortcut. Most of you guys already know that. So we'll be hitting that relatively quickly. The Disney story, how I used PLR in one significant story that I think you'll really love, and I know that our family loved as well. 4 major mistakes. See, I made a mistake on mistake. 4 major mistakes people make with PLR. 17 ways to leverage PLR, 6 strategies to increase your PLR profits, and Melissa's special offer in which you'll save 66%. You know, I'm not going to hide up front that there's going to be an offer at the end. A lot of it, the old school way is that you got sucked in to some presentation that was really low level content. And then at the end, you got a big sales pitch. And that was the whole deal. Well, we're really reversing that. The sales pitch is very tiny, but the content that you're going to get today, I'm really excited about sharing with you, and I know is going to improve your business. And again, Melissa, thank you so much for having me here today, and feel free just to shout out anytime you've got something you want to add in or a question that comes up over in the chat room that you want to make sure that I address. And with no further ado, we will get started. I'm not going to bore you with any of my background. We'll go right into the content. Why is PLR the ultimate shortcut? The content is created for you. Research is done for you. The bulk of the work is done for you. And you've got permission to change and repurpose it without asking permission. Yeah, I've had so many questions through the years of people saying, you know, Paul, I just don't feel right about using PLR. And I know you guys do, especially because of your relationship with Melissa and the great work that she does with private label rights. But if you're still on the edge for some reason and you still feel a little bit of that awkwardness about PLR, it's no different than going to the grocery store. If you take down 3 cans of green beans, the ingredients will be identical, the calorie count will be identical, the order of the ingredients for the most part will be identical. The only thing that'll be different is the label. And most of the time, especially here in the United States, many of those products are actually packaged in the same factory. They're using the exact same recipe. They're only changing the label. And that's one of the things that I've always loved about private label rights is that we do get to make the change, that we get to put our name on it, we get to change the content, we get to coolify it in our own way so that it matches our voice and our style. So that's always fun. And then it's cheaper than a ghostwriter by far. I was talking to my buddy Jimmy D. Brown last night, and I asked him how much his ghostwriter cost because I was about to release PLR to a book that I'd written a couple of years ago that has about 120 pages. And he said, well, my ghostwriter is about 8.5 cents per page. I mean, per word. Hey, per page would be awesome. Per word. And so I multiplied that out, and it would turn out that this book would cost $3,500 to have someone else write. Well, PLR is so much cheaper, so much easier than hiring somebody. Now, my favorite PLR story, because not only do I sell PLR, but I also use PLR, is with Disney World. A few years ago, my family and I were headed down to Disney. My wife teaches school, and she was going to be able to get out a little bit early that day. We're going to leave at 3 o'clock. It's about a 7.5-hour drive from our house down to Disney World. So she calls at 3 and says, babe, I'm not going to be able to get out. We're not going to be able to get home till about 5 o'clock. And so I thought, well, I've got 2 hours. What can I do? Looked on my hard drive, found a PLR on time management, on productivity, and I rewrote a little bit of it, and I made a recording. I just started talking. It took me about 45 minutes to record the PLR, put up the sales page, put a link on it to sell it, had a little download page that had no big details on it other than thanks for ordering the Get More Done report. Here is a link to the PDF. Here's a link to the audio. And then by the time I got all that up, about 2 hours, my girl got home, we packed up, and I sent an email out to the list. And right as we were leaving, I got a call or actually a text from one of my friends online and said, "Wow, I just got your report. I bought it. Does it have an affiliate link?" I said, "Well, it's just standard ClickBank. So just insert your ClickBank ID into this and send it out if you want to." I didn't think anything else about it. We left. We got down to Disney about 7.5 hours later. I checked my email. I had all of these orders, and we had sold enough of these $15 reports to pay for our entire Disney trip. And we are not frugal. Baby girl, my wife Marla, called her baby girl. She does not believe in staying at lesser quality. She believes, if we're going to go somewhere, let's do it right. And because of PLR, we were able to pay for this entire trip. I didn't feel bad about it, feel guilty about it. And what was really funny is my friend called and said, "Hey, this report is so good. I can hear your voice all the way through it." And of course, with the audio, the voice was definitely heard as well. Well, my voice has y'all in it and mistaken words, words that we create in the South that don't exist anywhere else on the planet, like get her done. And I just took those types of words and terminology and vocabulary, just put that in the report. And certainly when I was recording, it had my voice, my style in it. And it really connected with the audience and allowed us to really get some great income off of the PLR. Now, we're going to hit 17 ways to leverage PLR. Number one is an ebook, but I think that actually I promised 4 big mistakes that people make with PLR. And let me go ahead and hit those real quick because I remember now that I put it on the intro but forgot to make a screen for it. The mistake number one is that people don't change it. So just write these notes down. There won't be screens associated. Number one, people do not change the PLR. That's the biggest mistake that's ever made. Now, even if you have a great writer like Melissa, you still need to make changes to PLR. And the reason is you want it to sound like you. The second major mistake, which really comes from the first one, is that people fail to read through the PLR. They think, well, I've bought this content. I should be able to turn around and just send it out without knowing what's in it. So first, you've got to make changes. Second, the only way to make changes is to make sure that you've read through it and you've accurately assessed the quality of the resource that you're going to be reselling or giving away. Number three, another big mistake that people make is that they don't change the format. So if they got it as an ebook, they keep it as an ebook instead of chopping up into articles. Or if they received it as an audio, they don't get a transcript made. And the real key and power of PLR is making the format different. People will say, well, if me and everybody else on the planet is selling the same thing, how in the world can we make money with this? Well, you simply change the format and you add your voice. And then number four, which is the most obvious, the biggest mistake people make is they never do anything. They buy the PLR, but they never release the PLR. They never put it out there for sale. They never put it on their blogs. They never do anything article-wise with it. And they simply buy it and they allow it to sit on their hard drive. So those are the 4 big mistakes. So 17 ways to leverage PLR is about actually using the PLR. So number one is creation of an ebook. And this is probably the most familiar. This is what people do most often. And the great thing about an ebook is that you can give it away free to drive signups. You can sell it and allow this to give you revenue. So there's a paid ebook that you get revenue from. It can be an upsell for an existing product. It can be a back-end offer, and it can be added to a membership site. So when you think about an ebook, it's not simply about having a sales page up and you're selling a product. But the ebook can be a free giveaway. You can sell it. It can be an upsell so that after you sell your product, you say, oh, I wanted to let you know I've also got this ebook that is a great compliment. It's not necessary, but it's a great compliment for the product you just bought. It's only $5, only $10 extra. A back-end offer, after you've sold something, and a couple of days later, you say, hey, I hope you're enjoying X, Y, and Z product. I want you to know that I've also got this great ebook on the topic that I'd like to offer you as well. Usually this sells for $27, but if you grab it today, it's only $7 at this link. And then if you have a membership site, if every month you're releasing a new ebook on a particular topic for your market, How cool is that? And using PLR makes it so easy and so quick to be able to continually provide great content to your members so that they can continually see the great value that they are getting from you. All right. Number two, a physical book. All right. A lot of people don't do this. And if you want to stand apart, it's a great way to do it. I've got 3 books for sale on Amazon right now that are all PLR. And when I first got these books made, I had about 100 copies printed of each one, and I took it to a seminar just to hand out to the crowd. They loved it. They were like, wow, this guy's got books. This is awesome. So, a really cool way to be able to get out there physically. Even if you give away the book as sort of a giant brochure, it still creates great credibility and great leverage. And you could do it in comb binding. I don't know what you might have in your area. In our area, we use FedEx Kinko's. I can upload that through the internet and later on today go pick up my wire or comb bound books. Pretty cool. Print on demand with Lulu. And I actually use CreateSpace, createspace.com. A credibility builder, like I already mentioned, anytime that you're handing a book out, people really love that and they really feel like you must be an authority or an expert on this topic because you have a book on the topic. And then self-liquidating offers. And what that is when you're not trying to make money on the front side, but what you want to do is that you basically want people to pay you to build your list. So let's say that you went to listbuilding.com and I had a book there on list building, it's a physical book. And I said, I want to give you my free book on list building. All you have to pay is shipping and handling. It's $4.95. Well, the book itself is going to cost me a couple of dollars, and to ship it out, it's going to be about $1. And I'm going to get this a little bit of income for my time and effort to go in and ship it out. But basically, I have gathered that lead for free. It's self-liquidating. And so I've been paid to have people join my list. And let's say that I'm clearing $1 per sign up. Then that means that I have $1 to spend online per sign up. So, great way to leverage PLR is a physical book. Number 3, a lead generation CD. Not necessarily a DVD, but just a CD. You can burn the PLR file straight to the CD. You could get several PLRs, package it as a collection, and then if you wanted to record it with video or audio, you could burn those to the CD as well. Now, that's a great giveaway. It's also a great lead generation device, and you've seen these online a lot where somebody offers you a CD, again, for shipping and handling, and it's part of their lead generation device. Well, you can do that on your site as well. You can use something like Kanaki or even CreateSpace, again, will allow you to upload files or upload audio, and they will create the CDs. They will ship it all out for you. Both the books and the CDs are print on demand. So you don't have to worry about stockpiling. You don't have to keep any inventory. I hate all of that. I despise going to the post office. And so the more that somebody else does this work, the better. Now, you don't have a lot of income on this side of things if you are allowing them to do all of the printing, the publishing. Now, if you wanted to get those and stockpile them yourself and then sell them at your own price, you're going to be able to make more money. But we're talking right now about lead generation, and the real goal of that is to make sure that you break even on the front side so you can make a lot more money on the back side. Number 4, multimedia product. If you create a multimedia product, hey, Monica, yeah, the replay will be available, and so we'll be sending that out shortly thereafter. Multimedia replay product. Multimedia product, turn your PLR into video, full motion video, screen capture, and then buyers can download from the site, and you could burn it to a DVD or a CD. And so multimedia just allows you so rapidly to create a valuable product. I cannot tell you the number of times I've taken a PLR, created PowerPoint screens from it, recorded it, and then sold it as a $97 product. It's just so easy to do if you'll take the time. And if you've got any sort of background in your niche, in your market, which I highly recommend, you can buy a product use it as an idea base for your PowerPoints and for your audio so that you're able to generate that really quickly into a product. So multimedia product is number 4. Number 5 is webinar content. So again, you create a PowerPoint outline. You take the best 20 to 30% of the PLR. You read the content as you're doing the webinar. You publish the PDF that you're reading from as the transcript of the webinar. So how cool is this? How easy is this? You take the best 20 or 30%, you put that on your PowerPoint screens. You just read your content as you're going through these screens. And then you publish the PDF as a transcript. And your transcript's already done because that's what you're reading from. So quick and easy way to leverage your PLR into a webinar for maximum profit. You might be able to sell that ebook for, let's say, $17, but you could sell the webinar for anywhere from $27 to $47 up to as high as $97 if you're including Q&A in the webinar as well. Number 6, autoresponder mini course. It's easy to create a series when you're using PLR. All you have to do is kind of chop it up a little bit, and then you are going to connect with readers more because they're not getting all of your content at once. It's spread out over time. And there was a report about a year ago that said that the mini course is dead, that people aren't doing that anymore. People aren't staying in for that. Well, sure they do. That's like saying that the mini series is dead, or it's like saying that a series like, and this is years ago, like Dallas or Lonesome Dove, or I don't watch enough TV right now to know what series are out there, but these series captivated people because people wanted to see what the ending was going to be. So as you chop up your PLR into a series, you've got point 1, point 2, and the whole time you're connecting with the readers. They come to know you, they know your style, they know the quality of your information, and they begin to feel more and more a part of your community. So you just drip that content either daily or about every 2 days until you get to the end of the series. You want to tie in related offers starting with about number 3 in the series. So you don't have to wait to the end of the series to start selling anything. But you've given a couple of great articles away in this mini course. And then the third time, you may say something along the lines of, hey, thanks for being part of my list building mini course. What I'm covering today is how powerful and effective autoresponders are. Now, at the end of this report, I'm going to share with you my favorite autoresponder. I would love for you to just to click that link, check it out, and perhaps it's great for you too. And then you've got a link to GetResponse, iContact, Aweber, whatever you use. So it works out really well, and it allows you to make very non-intimidating offers that are going to allow you to do really good. Hey, real quick, Carl, with the audio cutting up a little bit. In general, if you're having trouble with your audio, in general, that tends to be the audio that is within your own personal system. Just a little bit of drag time there within the broadband connection. But as this is being recorded through Adobe Connect, what's going to happen is that you are going to be able to listen back, and it's going to end up being really clear on the playback. So it's not really going to be a problem from that standpoint. So no worries on that side of things. The audio on the playback will be fine. All right, so that's it for number 6. Number 7 is special reports. Now, this is actually a favorite of mine. I love special reports. I love shorter reports because it allows you to share a lot of great material, great content, without having to worry too much about covering everything on the planet. So a special report is 10 to 25 pages. Again, you're not writing a novel. This isn't War and Peace. This isn't all about doing everything you can to share with everybody every single piece of information about this particular resource or niche or idea or concept. It's about keeping it really tight. So really cool. It's also about a specific topic. Again, you're not trying to write War and Peace. Simply cover the topic effectively. cover one idea and one concept that are going to allow you to really get to the meat of the matter and show people exactly what they need to do. So all meat, no filler, low price, low barrier. So, this is what I really love about special reports is that you get to sell these anywhere from on the lowest side, like $2, and on the high side is probably, even a special report could be $50 if it's really meaty. I mean, it's got to be really great. But I'll tell you this, I tend to sell my special reports anywhere from $5 to $10, and they do extremely well because even those who are challenged financially feel like, wow, okay, I can get this. And generally, I tend to record the special report as well, so they get the PDF and they get the MP3 to that, and it seems to work out really well for them. These are easy to do weekly. You could release a special report every week that's 10 pages when you're doing it with PLR. And within a week, you can work with 10 pages and really change the content, make it strong, make it personal, really allow it to flow with your voice and with your style. So that works out really well also. And you just simply take an ebook and you chunk it down. Let's say that you buy an ebook that has 10 chapters and you find that about two of those chapters equals about 10 pages, then just chunk it down in those two chapter sections. Now, you have to do a little bit of work on it, massage on it, just to make sure that you've got enough solid content there and enough clear content for your report. You don't want to leave them hanging in a report. You do want to give them what you promised and cover the topic effectively. All right, number 8, list building. We are, not quite halfway there yet. List building. People like free stuff. They still love it. I read in the forums all the time. People say, well, I don't think giving away things free is very effective anymore. I'm telling you, when I go to one of these mega marts and they're standing there giving away free samples, I don't go, I tell you what, I don't care for a free sample. I just like to buy the product. Even if I'm buying the product, I'm going to take the sample. Free stuff, people love it. It can be bonuses for sign up when people are joining your list. It can be a live event bonus. And people don't do this, but let's say that you've got a live event, a webinar, a teleseminar, and right at the beginning you say, hey, I want to thank you so much for joining me today. And in fact, about the halfway mark, I've got a special link that I'm going to give you away give something to you free. And all you're going to have to do is just to go and sign up real quick to let me know that you were on the webinar, and you'll get this free bonus. So it allows you to actually build your list from a bonus. Now, we're not doing this today, but here's a great idea. So you did not have to sign up for my list to come to this webinar today. We didn't send you to a sign up page. So here I am getting in front of this great audience and not building my list. So how could I build my list? The next screen, I could have a free giveaway so that everybody that was here would go online to my website and then enter their name and their email address and get something free, so that even though I didn't do a mailing on the front side, I would still end up building my list off the attendees. And you know what? It'd be a great list because people who show up for things live are a higher caliber client and customer. So this is it. Leanne says, you tell them to get the bonus after the webinar so they don't leave during the webinar, right? You can tell them that. And sometimes what I'll do is that I will allow the bonus to be used during the second half of the webinar, so that if somebody went and downloaded it, they can kind of follow along with it. So there's different tie-ins for that. That's a great point, Leanne. Sometimes I wait all the way to the end to do some sort of free giveaway. But yeah, you keep them connected to the webinar. Great, great point. And then refer a friend bonus. And I've had some success with this. This isn't my favorite, but other people have been real successful, so I wanted to add it in. And that is when someone signs up for your list, you send them to a thank you page, and you say, hey, I've got this great giveaway for you. If you will send an invitation to 3 of your friends, then I will give you X book for free. Number 9, blog content. Blog content. It's niche-specific SEO when you're using PLR. It makes it so quick and easy for you just to change some keywords, to change a little bit of the content to make sure that you've got it SEO specific for your niche market. You can break the PLR into like 50 pieces, and now you've got 50 different blog posts. You can preload that into WordPress, timestamp the release, and then just refill it as needed. You never face writer's block. Should be apostrophe S. You never face writer's block. So cool because you've got all this preloaded. It's just being dripped right out on WordPress, and it's really cool. Now, there's a little bit of work up front, you get all that preloaded and make sure that it reads correctly, but it's really great for blog content. Now, if you are involved in niche marketing and you are using your WordPress site not as your money site, but it's a feeder site, then you don't have to worry about changing the content near as much because you're probably not going to have your name over on the feeder site. You're just going to use it for SEO and backlinking purposes to your money site. So you can even do this step a lot quicker, a lot easier if you don't have your name particularly associated with the site. Number 10, article directories. You can get an article directory theme for WordPress. You chop up the PLR into articles. You give people permission to reprint the articles. This is important. You've got your little information box right at the end of each one of the articles, but you let people know they can copy and they can put that on their website. It's not duplicate content. Duplicate content really means that you're using the same information, the same content within the same site, but trying to trick the search engines into believing that this is new content. And also, if you're using the same IP address for multiple blogs, but they're all associated with you, then obviously Google's like, hey, Paul's just over there trying to scam us. He's just copying the same content and he's making it appear on these different sites as if it's different people giving him authority. But if other people are taking your content, publishing on their site, they're not going to have the same IP address. Google's going to know it's not the same person, even if it is the same information. And you want to announce your articles, whether it's through Twitter, Facebook, doing a press release. You want to get word out that your articles are available for copying and using on their sites, or you've got a new release, or you're using pingbacks or RSS. There's so many different avenues to use on that. You just want to make sure that Google knows and your people know that your articles are available. And then you want to publish those articles on your blog as well if they are well written, and they should be if you're giving people permission to reprint. So you want to put those on your blog. It won't be duplicate content, but instead it will allow you to do some really great work. By a directory theme, what I mean by that is that with WordPress, you have a basic theme that you can get. And right, yeah, Anita's dead on. You can get them for WordPress. If you were to do a search on Google, not at this time, but if you were to do a search on Google for article directory theme, you would find several themes that will allow you to create what looks like an article directory, meaning that when people land on your WordPress quote blog, which I really don't like the word blog for WordPress. It's really a content management system is what it is more than anything else. And you can make it look like they've landed on an article directory instead of making it look like they've landed on a blog. Because when people land on a blog, they feel like, okay, I know what this is. This is a person who writes about their daily events or monthly events, or they got a newsletter about X, Y, and Z. But when they land in an article directory, the mindset shifts a little bit. When you land at ezinearticles.com, you don't think that's a blog, but you could set up WordPress to look very much like Ezine Articles. And the great thing about article directories is you can invite other article writers and authors to submit their information, and all it does is it grows your directory and increases your backlinks and your SEO. Yeah, you're going to put a link to the article pointing back to your site with the reprint permission. Really, most likely, it's not simply going to be pointed back to the article, but you're going to want that backlink to point back to your money site or to your squeeze page or wherever you want these people to show up. So when you're giving them permission to reprint this article, you want to put a link in there that will allow them to show up where you desire and where you want. Yeah, Leanne, dead on. CPA, that works really well for CPA offers. Number 11 is social media. I will tell you right now, I am not the king of social media. And even before we got on the webinar today, Melissa said, "Do you have a hashtag?" I said, "I know nothing about these hashtags of which you speak. I don't know if you have to go and just create one or if you have to register it." And she laughed at me, but such is my life. Tweet excerpts for the PLR. You can tweet and then send people to your blog. So you tweet a little bit of the excerpt, just a few characters worth, obviously, and then send a link back to your blog or to your article directory to wherever you have the information. You can use a PLR as a Facebook like giveaway. This is a huge popular thing right now, so that when people like you, they get something free. It sounds like to me like you're just paying for friends, but if you're comfortable with that, it's no big deal. And then your wall post where you're giving away some PLR and material as a great link to or great download to whatever you're posting that day. You could say, "Hey, I've just put together a great resource on X, Y, and Z. I'd love for all of my fans and followers to get this. Here's a direct link." So that works out really well also. Number 12, teleseminars. You can just simply read the content. People are often so scared of doing anything that's live, but when you're reading the content, it works out pretty well. You gotta be a little careful with that because you don't want to sound like you are reading. You simply want to make it sound natural and live. Well, everything today, besides, the points coming up on the screen and I'm taken off, this is all pretty much ad lib. But if I was reading this, I would try to make it sound as real, as conversational, keyword, as conversational as possible. So you can simply read the content when you're doing teleseminars, sell the recording and the transcript, which transcript you're technically reading from. If you feel uncomfortable, you can actually hire someone else to read the content and then just set your teleseminar to autoplay. And you can even let your people know. So, I'm a little bit uncomfortable with my voice. I've got to let you know that I'm a little bit nervous when I'm doing things. So what I did was I hired somebody with a great voice. Sounds a lot like James Earl Ray. And you're just going to enjoy listening to this content because I didn't want to allow my inadequacies to prevent you from getting some great information that is really going to help you. The difference between a teleseminar and uh, James Earl Jones. Thanks, Leanne. I'm always making that mistake. ADD problem. Did see James Earl Jones in New York Broadway with Vanessa Redgrave. Fantastic. That was in Driving Miss Daisy. I think they extended the show. If you're near New York, go. Difference between a teleseminar and a webinar is, that's right, Jack. Teleseminar is only over the phone. Webinar is what we're doing right now. And this is not just another ebook. That's the great thing about teleseminars. It's not just another ebook that anybody can get and deliver. A lot of people are not going to do teleseminars with PLR for a variety of reasons. Everything from nerves to feeling like, well, I bought this as an ebook. It just stays as an ebook. It doesn't have to. You can make all of those changes. And then freeconferencecall.com and other free sources that are out there that you can use for your teleseminars. Really cool, really fun to do. It really makes you different and sets you apart from the crowd. Number 13 is interviews. So you create questions from the content. You send the questions to the interviewer and you read the questions and ad lib. I mean, that's all there is to this. I'm almost embarrassed to share this. I have done plenty of interviews like this, especially when life has just been going 100 miles an hour. I remember a few months ago, somebody called me up or actually emailed me and said, "I'd love to do an interview on PLR." Well, I was just exhausted and I did not have any interview questions created. So I actually went and bought PLR on PLR. Not making this up. How to use PLR. And it was chunked into like 4 things of this and 5 things of that and 6 things over here. So I took the 4, I took the like 8 and the 6, and I said, "What are the 4 blah blah blahs? Paul, can you give us some ideas on X?" And those were the 8 things. And then as we conclude, what ideas do you have to really ramp this up? And that was the 6 things. And it was all out of this book, and I was reading it almost verbatim, except for some ad lib. It turned out to be a great interview Create the questions from the content, send it to the interviewer, read the answers, and ad lib. Number 14, podcast. Record the content in sections. You don't want your podcast to be overly long. You publish it to iTunes, and you publish it to Blog Talk Radio, or you might want to reverse those last two. I will do Blog Talk Radio, and it auto publishes to iTunes. So, just a really great little quick thing that you can do. You can read about 5 minutes of content and say, on today's Blog Talk Radio show, I'm going to be covering X, Y, and Z. I'm going to share with you my favorite 3X, 4Y. Let's get started. And then you just start reading, and you automatically get that published. It goes to iTunes. People can subscribe to your iTunes channel. It works out beautifully. Number 15, newsletter content, one of the ones that is obvious. But again, everybody doesn't do it. So you publish these articles in your newsletter, or snippets or tips, or you publish it as a series. But the real key is that you are consistent. Hey, Trudy. Yeah, I may give you a copy of those slides. That'd be a great, cool bonus, wouldn't it? If I remember to do it, Melissa, remind me later on to convert these slides to a PDF. We'll make them available to you folks. So articles, snippets, tips, series, and be consistent. Back to the sidebar. Even though you're getting screens, let me caution you on this. You've really got to take notes when you're watching, even if you get screens, because here's what happens. Physically, when you take notes, it creates a connection with your brain that you are going to take action. When you simply listen and you look at screens, you do not make that connection. And instead of action, it turns into good intentions. I don't know why this is true. I'm not a psychologist, but I'm telling you, when we just get PDFs and we listen along and we don't do something physical, we do not take the action we would have taken. And in fact, even if you get the PDF, I would encourage you to take notes to the side, to print it out, to take notes on the side, to write down your ideas. Of these 18, you should circle the top 3 that you are going to do immediately. You've got to do that. I cannot, emphasize that enough. I'm just telling you from experience and from watching people from the last 15 years of working online, that good intentions will annihilate you, but physical actions will propel you. All right, off the soapbox. Number 16 is bonuses. It can be for a newsletter sign up, when they join your list. It can be a bonus for a product purchase. It can be a bonus for an affiliate purchase. I love this. So that if I have some information that I really feel like is great bonus material, is a great PLR. Let's say that I've converted it into a multimedia product and I'm selling it right now for 97 bucks. Well, King Guru comes up with this affiliate offer, and I think, well, I trust this guy. He seems to be one of the guys that isn't lame, and he's not a scam guy. He actually has some good information. Then I'll say, if you buy Guru's product, I'll also throw in my $97 product as a bonus for the purchase. Works out real well. And then as an unadvertised bonus, this is another one of my favorites. I love to get things that I was not expecting. So I purchased something. 2 days later, they go, hey, Paul, I got you a great unadvertised bonus. I go and I download that thing or listen to it, and I go, wow, this is so cool. I paid for X, but you know what? I would have paid that much for this. Here's the real key to the unadvertised bonus. If you will make it of equal to greater value to the product that they purchased, you will be a hero. So if someone buys from you a product for $27 and then the unadvertised bonus is something that they would spend $27 or $47 on, you are a hero. And PLR allows you to do that because it may not be that you are simply giving an ebook away. It could be that you're giving 10 ebooks away, or you're giving away a great webinar that you did. It could have been a year ago, but it was PLR based, but it ends up being a great unadvertised bonus. Anita, you're right. It's over delivering. And one of the things you want to do is you want to put a price on it so people really understand what they're getting, the value that they're getting. If this product actually is for sale somewhere, but it's an unadvertised bonus, show them the page that it's selling from so they know they're really getting something strong. And number 17, people don't do this, they feel a little uncomfortable with it, but e-coaching. You can create lessons from the PLR. You do training and homework each week for the lessons that you release. People turn in their homework via email. And then the other thing is you can actually use this PLR as a springboard. If you feel like, I don't really feel like I can chop up this PLR and make it a complete lesson, well, you may be able to use sections of it, and then you add your own flair to it, your own energy, your own time to make it great. But if you have, let's say, 4 ebooks, they're PLR ebooks that you really love the content, you feel like it's got some great depth, and all 4 of these ebooks are on the same topic, and let's say it's starting your online business. The first ebook is all about buying a domain name and FTPing files up to the internet. The second ebook is about creating landing pages, sales pages, and thank you pages. The third ebook is about creating your own product, or let's say third ebook is on Aweber or list building, and the fourth ebook is on creating your own product. So you take those 4 ebooks, but you turn them into lessons. Lesson 1, lesson 2, lesson 3, lesson 4. You load those lessons up in your password protected WordPress site and allow each week to be released by a drip mechanism. Or what I would do is actually I would go and record videos of that PLR material, use the PLR as the base, but I would just create PowerPoint slides. And now you got 4 webinars or 4 presentations to present. Every Monday I would release the new lesson. Every Thursday I would hold a coaching call, and anytime that they would like to email me for questions, they'd be able to do that through the 4 weeks. Now, that 4-week coaching is going to cost anywhere from the low side, 97. I don't think I've ever sold a 4-week course for 97. Usually it's 197 to 497, and even as high as 997. Yeah, member wing is good. I love wishlist member, and the dripping mechanism that I use actually ties into wishlist member, and I think it's just called WP drip. WP drip. Pretty sure that that's it. All right, so those are the 17 ways, but we're not done yet. 6 strategies for making a little bit more money with PLR. Number 1, format the content. Whether you do it yourself or whether you get it hired, you want your content to look great. You want people, and I'm going to say this in several different formats here as we look down this list, but you want to format the content in a way that people open up your PDF or they scroll through your video and they are visually accepting of what they bought. Now, this is especially true with a PDF. Let's say that it's 20 pages, but they scroll through and they get to see nice headers. They see that the information is broken up and works out real well. It's formatted nicely, and people feel like, wow, this is worth buying. You want to add titles and subtitles. A lot of PLR reports and ebooks don't come with things broken up especially well. So as you read through the material, you want to add titles and sections to the chapters, and you want to add subtitles. Maybe you notice that there's a particular pattern that's taken place, and you just want to make sure that it really remains clear. 3 is Anita's mentioning, you do want to have graphics, and as Dwayne says, you don't want it to be too busy. That's right. And you want the graphics just to be clean. What you don't want is to use goofy graphics or goofy clip art that people are just like, well, they just threw something in here to take up space. But if it really works well, especially like what I was mentioning beforehand, like if you had these 4 ebooks and it's showing people how to FTP or buy a domain, those are going to be great graphics to include. When you've got step-by-step tutorial graphics, it really adds value. You want to add a table of contents. This makes people immediately be able to look at it and say it's worth it. Almost every one of us, 80 percentile and a little bit higher, when we go to the bookstore, we open up immediately to the table of contents, and what we do is we make a judgment. We say, wow, this looks great. I want to get this book, or this looks a little bit confusing. I don't know that it's for me. We often do that on table of contents. So make a great table of contents for your PLR, especially with an ebook, and is going to make people feel really comfortable. We sort of did a table of contents at the beginning of this webinar. You remember? We said, this is what we're going to cover. We're like, wow, okay, this is going to be pretty cool. I need to hang out for this whole deal. Number 5, and this all depends. You got to know the rights. Okay, we're getting into a little bit of content and territory that we got to be clued in on. If you have unrestricted rights, then you are able to sell resale rights. Now, Melissa may not give resale rights away with her PLR, and I've got PLR that I sell that you do not have permission to give somebody else the rights to. But I've got other content that is unrestricted, so that if you got this content from me, you could turn around and let's say your name is Mike and you sell this to Sharon. You tell Sharon, hey, you not only get this great report, but you also get to take this report and you get to resell it and keep all the money from it. So if you can offer resale rights, you immediately get to charge more money. The better your content is formatted, the more cleanly it is laid out, the better your graphics and instruction on your graphics, the better your table of contents, and the ability to offer resale rights allows you to charge more money. And this is one of my favorites. When you add coaching calls, you get to charge more money. So let's say I'm selling a very simple ebook for $10. And it's good information. But you tell people, I've got 2 offers for you today. You can buy my ebook for just $10, or for $27. This Thursday, I'm also holding a live Q&A call to answer all the questions of everybody who buys this ebook today. And that's only $27 for you to also get the coaching call. So $10 just to get the ebook, $27, we get on the phone live, we answer your questions. It's a great immediate live upsell technique that works extremely well because people are like, wow, okay, I get to buy the book, but if I got any questions, I actually get to ask the person who wrote the book. How cool is that? It works out extremely well. So those are your 6 strategies for making more money with PLR, in addition to the 17 ways to leverage PLR. Now, I don't want to break any of my promises, so we're coming to the special offer right now of what Melissa set up for you guys. This is pretty cool, but let's see what Michelle says. I use PLR to give away mostly, but I'm concerned with selling because most of what I see can actually be found by Googling the topic the person is interested in. How do you know the PLR is not on the internet already? Well, certainly you can go ahead and you can search for it, Michelle. That's one way to do it. Second of all, a lot of people are not searching for the content. Third of all, PLR it's a lot like going fishing, but it's like going fishing in the ocean. So if you tell somebody I'm going fishing and somebody says, meet me at the ocean, but you don't have an address and you're not meeting at the same place, it's all over. We're just not going to show up. A lot of people aren't checking for that, believe it or not. These are the types of questions that will sometimes prevent us from really getting out there. And there's nothing wrong. If somebody says, hey, I found this for free over here, you can always say, hey, I'll just refund you. Go get it for free. No big deal. Or if you're doing a coaching element or a bonus element, you've separated yourself from the crowd. If you're doing a teleseminar or a webinar, you're separating yourself from the crowd. If you're doing audio, any way that you can be different is what sets you apart. And it really doesn't matter that there's information already out there on the internet. I guarantee you that right now, if I went to my list and said, hey guys, I want to show you how to set up your WordPress this afternoon, a WordPress blog from scratch this afternoon. Well, they could go and Google that and get it for free. What they're not going to get is me teaching it for free on the internet. So you are the difference. You are the catalyst. You are the value. I love what Myra is saying here. I may have mispronounced that. Sorry if I did. Is that you're saving them time. That is so huge, enormous.